evening. Good to have you with us in the 8 p.m. edition of the Urban Debate. Tonight, viewers, we're going to raise the issue that often all of us speak about. In our homes, in offices, when we travel, when we struggle to get to work, stuck in traffic jams, stuck in long queues at airports. This is the issue of how in this country there are two different sets of rules. One for you and me, the common man of this country, and the other for the VIPs who continue to take advantage of the power available to them and the posts that they enjoy and use this just like people did and Britishers did in the colonial era. Our top netas and their aides, and then the bureaucrats, and then other powerful constitutional post holders, everybody continues to have this VVIP mindset. The mindset that actually shows you that they believe they are entitled to traffic-free roads, whereas you have to deal with traffic jams. The mindset that shows you that the roads outside their homes and offices are smooth, but the ones that you have to travel on are filled with potholes. The same mindset that shows how you have to stand in long queues, rush to get to your flight, even after having reached the airport 3 hours in advance, while they zip through, walk in, get special vehicles to take them directly to the tarmac, skip all the other regulations, chill in VVIP lounges, get VVIP treatment, front row seats, all the facilities, simply because they are the MPs or other politicians in our country. This difference continues in all aspects of life. Why is it important for me to raise this issue tonight? It's not just about certain privileges that MPs of our country may have at airports. It is that this mindset ensures that in every aspect of life, from standing in a queue to cast their vote, to travel, to access to basic facilities, to access to good infrastructure, to access to all kinds of services, they get the first preference. This mindset that we are above the common man, that mindset needs to change. The whole world is changing. Every now and then you have examples of how politicians from across the world are traveling in metros, standing in queues, cycling to their work and whatnot, except in our country, which is why we have decided to take it up. Why am I actually sounding so preachy tonight? Here is the latest reminder from the government to the airport operators and the airlines. The senior staff will facilitate check-in formalities for MPs. If available, seats of choice should be given to the members of parliament. Front row seats should be reserved for MPs. Travel details of MPs should be passed on to concerned airports such that they can roll out the red carpet, one would assume. And that MPs should be provided access to reserved lounges. Airport operators must facilitate special parking, vehicles as well. Airport authorities to facilitate protocol officers at airports. Now, this is a reminder, and I say that because it's not new. But it shouldn't continue. Why is this still continuing? Why are sirens and roadblocks, route jo lag jata hai VVIP travel ke liye, why is that still a thing in our country? Why haven't we ended it? The idea of getting rid of the Lal Batti culture was brought in by this government in 2015 by Prime Minister Modi, who has repeatedly on several occasions spoken about moving away from this VIP mindset. But it's not visible in the circulars that are issued by the governments. This is what needs to end. Privileges at airports, in flights, needs to end. Endless motorcades. I understand security. I understand that you may want to travel with a couple of your aides and security personnel who are there to protect you because you're important people. But endless motorcades with 10, 20, 30 cars? How often do we also see reports of these speeding motorcades and one of them ramming into somebody on the road, often leading to fatalities? Just last week we had an example of that. Why? Why are these motorcades so important? What is it that they're trying to show? VIP quotas, in everything VIP quotas. Separate lane at all the toll plazas. separate lane for voting if they could get away with it. This is what needs to end now. This is the conversation I am going to have tonight, again and again and again, until the mindset actually begins to change. Symbolism isn't what we need. Real action on ground will surely show that the government also wants to bring about the change. So Mahesh Verma of the BJP joins me this evening. Manojit Mandal, political analyst, a TMC backer. Priya Chetty Rajgopal, a citizen activist, joining me this evening. Nipun Malhotra, founder Wheels for Life, disability rights activist, with me this evening. Sarath Kaul, former aviation secretary and chairman for International Foundation for Aviation, Aerospace and Drones, with me this evening as well. Let me actually start off with Mr. Mahesh Verma. Mr. Verma, it was the same government and the same Prime Minister who spoke about ending the Lal Batti culture. Now, what is the point of getting rid of the light and the beacon on the car when you continue to set in rules that ensures that Lal Batti treatment?
बात आप अगर पार्लियामेंटेन की कर रही हैं और उनकी सुविधा की बात कर रही हैं, तो ये सिर्फ एक एरोप्लेन या एयरपोर्ट एक्सेस की बात नहीं है। बात ये है कि बहुत सारे प्रिविलेजेस हैं जो कि बहुत सारे लेवल्स पे इस देश में, या वो विधायक है या वो एक ऑफिसर्स हैं या जो लोग भी काम करने वाले लोग हैं, उनके लिए जो है ये आज से नहीं, आज़ादी के बाद से ही चीज़ें तय की गई थी। अब उसमें ज़रूर आपकी ये जो कंसर्न है, जो आपका मुद्दा है, बहुत ही अच्छे, मतलब इस चीज़ के ऊपर डिबेट भी होना चाहिए हमारे देश में, और इसमें जितना हम कमतर कर सकें, इस तरह के कल्चर को हम जितना अपने से दूर कर सकें, वो अच्छी बात भी है। लेकिन सवाल उठता है कि ऐसे में आप किसी चीज़ को सम्मान दे रहे हैं या आप फिर उसको उसको एक तरह से महिमा मंडित कर रहे हैं, या उसको किसी तरह से आप ऐसी चीज को कर रहे हैं कि उसकी कोई आवश्यकता और जरूरत नहीं है। ये तीन चीजें जो है आपके इस मुद्दे में शामिल करके अगर मैं सोचता हूं, तो मुझे ये लगता है सबसे पहले कि निश्चित रूप से जो भी चीज दिया जाता है एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट का, उसके लिए पूरी तरह से अगर कोई अकाउंटेबल है तो पार्लियामेंट अकाउंटेबल है। जैसे मान लीजिए कि उनको बिजली सब्सिडाइज मिलती है, उनको गैस सब्सिडाइज मिलता है, उनको घर सब्सिडाइज मिलता है, उनको और सुविधा, उनके और पर्क्स होते हैं। जब वो पार्लियामेंटियन अपने क्षेत्र में जाते हैं तब भी उनको पैसा मिलता है। अब आज आपने जो मुद्दा खड़ा किया कि क्या एयर इंडिया अब जैसे प्राइवेटाइजेशन हो गया, उस सूरत में भी उनको क्या ये चीज कंटिन्यूअस जारी रखेगी सरकार? तो मैं आपको स्पष्ट कर दूं कि पहले भी एयर इंडिया जो है वो बिलिंग देती थी, क्योंकि एक लिमिटेड कंपनी है, और आज की डेट में जब टाटा ने उसको टेक ओवर किया है तब भी वो बिलिंग करेगी। अब उसमें ये है कि उसको जो है, जो उनको साल का 12 एक फ्लाइट मिलती है, उसके लिए जो है उसको पार्लियामेंट उसको पे कैसे करता है, कोई उसके लिए सिस्टम क्या बनता है, ये अलग बात है। लेकिन उसके अलावा जो एयर इंडिया को जो सबसे बड़ा फायदा मुझे समझ में आ रहा है इस पूरे डील में, वो ये है कि भारत सरकार का 30% बिजनेस भी जो है एयर इंडिया को जो है एज इट इज मिल रहा है, जिसके ऊपर अरबों खरबों रुपया मार्केटिंग पे खर्चा करना पड़ता कहीं एयर इंडिया को। तो ऐसा ये कहना कि भाई बिल्कुल हम कोई वीआईपी कल्चर की वजह से इसको
मैं
जोड़
ये
रहे हैं,
इसलिए आप ये
तो
सही कह रहे हैं महेश वर्मा जी, आप ये बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं कि ये आज के नए रूल्स नहीं है, ये कब से चले आ रहे हैं। आपने सही बोला कि इंडिपेंडेंस से ही ये जो प्रोटोकॉल से ये चलते हुए आ रहे हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि इंडिपेंडेंस के पहले यही ब्रिटिशर्स का रवैया था। वो जो इस देश में राज करते थे, उन्होंने अपने साथ के जितने लोग थे उनको ये सारे प्रिविलेजेस देख रखे थे। बट व्हाई शुड वी, मिस्टर वर्मा, 70 years later फॉलो द सेम कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट? और मैं आपसे ये इसलिए पूछ रही हूँ क्योंकि ये मोदी जी ही थे और मोदी सरकार ही थी जिन्होंने कहा लाल बत्ती को ही हटा दो गाड़ी से। कितनी बार उन्होंने ये बात बोली है कि हमें वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट नहीं करना चाहिए। वो खुद जाते हैं, मेट्रो में ट्रैवल करते हैं, वो विजुअल दिखाया जाता है। क्यों लोगों को? इसलिए क्योंकि ये आम आदमी के प्रधानमंत्री है, तो वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट ना वो चाहते हैं ना किसी और को फॉलो करना चाहिए। तो अब आप मुझे बताएं कि वही सरकार के ऑफिशियल्स अगर ये रिटर्न में एयरपोर्ट्स को भेज रहे हैं कि हमें स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट दो, तो ये क्या जस्टिफाइड है? और सिर्फ एयर इंडिया के लिए नहीं, सब जगह अब स्पेशल लाउंज में हमें रिलैक्स करने के लिए स्पेशल स्पेस चाहिए, फ्रंट रो सीट चाहिए एरोप्लेन के अंदर, ये किस लिए?
देखिए, एक तो मैं पहले आपको एक बात कहना चाहूँगा कि सरकार, मोदी सरकार जो है, इन सब चीज़ों की जो आप सोच रही हैं, हम लगभग हम हमारी सोच और इस सरकार की सोच जो है, वो उसी के आस-पास है। हम उससे कहीं जो है इतर नहीं है, जो आप सोच रही हैं या जो आप ये कह रही हैं कि भई लाल बत्ती का जो कल्चर है, और उसको लगभग कई मौकों पे जो है हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने उसको करने की कोशिश की, ताकि उसका अनुकरण कहीं उससे उसको कोई फ़ॉलो भी करे और फ़ॉलो करके आगे भी बढ़े। अब सवाल ये है कि जो पार्लियामेंट होता है, ये मैम आपको मैं बताऊँ कि पार्लियामेंट एक अपना अलग सिस्टम है, डेमोक्रेसी में एक पार्लियामेंट का अलग स्थान है। वहाँ प्रधानमंत्री इस चीज़ को फैसला नहीं ले सकते हैं अकेले, सरकार वहाँ की फैसला नहीं करती है। वहाँ पार्लियामेंट खुद अपना तय करता है कि हमारी सैलरी हमारे सदस्यों की क्या होगी, हमारे पर्क्स क्या होंगे, हम किस तरह से उस चीज़ को करेंगे। हाँ, ये ज़रूर है कि हमारे मंत्रीगण हैं, हमारे ऑफिसर्स हैं, हमारे और लोग हैं, उनके लिए तो हम सोच सकते हैं कि उनकी हम कटौती करें, जो कि हमने बहुत बड़ी कटौती भी करी है। आपको सुन के हैरानी होगी कि जिस तरह से एक गाड़ियों का काफ़िला होता था, उसमें लगभग 70% कटौती हुई है। जिस तरह से लोगों को मतलब एक-एक लोगों के पास 4-4 पियून होते थे, उसमें हमने 1 पे हम लेकर आए हैं। बहुत ऐसी चीज़ें होती थी जो कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअली जो है लोगों को रखे जाते थे, बहुत अमला-जमला पाला जाता था। उन सब चीज़ों में मतलब वो तो एक डाटा अलग है, उसके बारे में हम आपको अ, अभी कुछ कहूँ तो वो टाइम कम कर पड़ेगा। लेकिन ये ज़रूर मैं कहूँगा आपको कि पार्लियामेंट को आपका ये जो चीज़ है, ये मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्स को आपस में बात करके, सभी पार्टियों को बात करके इस पे सोचना चाहिए, और देश जागरूक हो रहा है इसके प्रति। प्रधानमंत्री का जो आह्वान है, प्रधानमंत्री जो जैसे सोचते हैं, लोगों को अच्छा भी लगता है, जो वो करते हैं उसको लोग देखते हैं तो उनको लगता है कि हाँ, ऐसा मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा पब्लिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हमारा होना चाहिए, जो हम कम से कम एक कॉमन मैन की तरह जो है, वो करता है, सोचता है। ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ़ वो कहता है। ये
Yes,
है।
ये आपने सही बात बोली. I can understand when you say that it's up to the parliament, but the parliament में majority किसकी है ये भी सबको पता है. When you want to pass your laws there, you can immediately get it done with or without the support of any other party. But this Monojit Mandal does not happen. Why is it? And I want to make one thing very clear. Mr. Mahesh Verma of the BJP has still been gracious enough to come to this forum and defend this decision, however difficult that task may be. Many other political parties and their representatives chose not to be a part of this conversation. Why? Because they don't see anything wrong with this system. Almost every political party, Monojit Mandal, believes that their netas deserve these privileges. What's wrong in it?
Tanvi, you are probably aware of the fact that perhaps only one chief minister in this country who still travels with economic class, and that is our own Mamata Banerjee. You don't find her traveling with that business class, executive class, whatever, till now. And I can bet my life on this, that Mamta will never do this. Even while she is having her, what you call pilot car or so on and so forth, she is still standing on the traffic signals of Calcutta. Again, you please cross-check the fact. Yes, doesn't mean that every other party workers, member of parliament follow this. But the supreme leader of the political party that I support and I'm part of, I think follows the same rules. Others needs to follow, including the people who belong to Trinamool Congress. But she was trying, and she has been trying this for many, many years. I tell you, you take only 24 hours to get a glimpse of Mamta. I have experienced in my life. You go to her house.
No, so tell me, you're right. I agree with you.
Access to Mamta.
But Mr. Mandal, I am surprised you yourself are admitting that maybe not all leaders, even in your party, follow what your supreme leader is doing. Why is that? Why is there resistance even in TMC?
Yes, I'll come to this point. And this is the culture of entitlement that you are probably suggesting. It's been continuing since the colonial time. We need to have more such debates, including, heated debates in the parliament itself. Why the ruling dispensation, which you rightly, I think, pointed out, why are they silent on the issue? I mean, look at the kind of, and forget about traveling through trains, airplanes and other things. The kind of privilege they got inside the parliament. I mean, for telephone bills, I mean, Tanvi, you only take 509 rupees package for your unlimited calls and data uses. Look at how much money they get in terms of their telephone bills and all. I mean, this is happening for years. All the political parties, especially the ruling political party, they need to come up with a definite solution. And if in that case there is no structured debate on the issue, they need to bring this bill, let us have this conversation, and if at all other political parties are not willing, then we'll definitely think. The other important point I would like to get.
Mandal, we have a bit of a problem with the network there. I'm going to try and fix that and come back to you. But let me just list out some of the other instances for our viewers. It's not a single political party problem, but I'm hoping there is one single political party at least that is willing to bring about this change. Let me give you an example of a JDS MLA in Karnataka who demanded a VIP lane for legislators. The minister in Karnataka accepted this, saying, yes, the government's people should use the ambulance lanes on highways for MLAs. In April 2021, when the second wave was peaking, doctors wrote to Prime Minister Modi against this VIP culture, saying politicians are calling them home for treatment even during the peak of second wave, when there is clearly so much to do for the doctors on the floor of the hospital. In July 2021, Tamil Nadu DMK minister didn't even want to wet his shoes, so fishermen carried him from the boat to land so that the minister wouldn't have to put his feet in the water. When asked, he said, what is wrong in it? If they can ask with affection, we should climb on only. It is only wrong if I demand to climb on their shoulders. This is the mindset, and people pander to it, so politicians happily accept it as well. In January, in Madhya Pradesh, 2 PWD officers were removed from office after they failed to welcome a Bhopal minister. Because they didn't stand up and roll the red carpet, they got punished for it. In 2017, BJP MLA Shriram Sonkar slapped a traffic home guard over an argument over breaking traffic rules, and he said his status allows him to do so. Who is a traffic cop to ask him any questions? Countless examples cutting across party lines. The rules that we have today were obviously the protocols made and added on to for the longest time during the Congress's era. Priya Chetty, how do we get rid of this mindset so prevalent, cutting across party lines? And if the netas don't experience what you and I do, how will they ever know the reality to change it?
Absolutely. If you look at it over the years, there has been a lot of entitlement. There has been a lot of, in some ways, disrespect about what privileges are taken because one is a VIP or has a higher status, etc. So whether you look at it in the forces or the bureaucracy or in the political class, there has been a lot. The increasing the flatness of society with more and more people from different classes, sort of achieving a lot of success, people question, and this is not something which is unusual. When people question, they question with fact, with reasonable amount of certainty, and politicians have to answer. Bureaucracy has to answer why this is possible. In our own state, I think 2 good things I've noticed about our chief minister is he has banned the use of flowers and garlands and the hat putting, etc. in public functions. But he's also said that this whole what is it called? List of cars that are following, etc. All that the convoys have to stop. So, for me, these are good things because it means that somebody gets leveled down. My worry is in case of VIPs who try and not be VIPs, you have other situations where their followers and their chelas saying you're not doing the right thing, you're not getting the right positioning if you don't do all these things. So, jokes apart, I mean, while all this is something that we very, sneeringly kind of stand up to and bear, I do believe that it's just a matter of time before it gets it gets completely out of the way. So in 2014, you had that specific note from the PM saying this VIP culture has to go on. There were some very specific areas that had to be covered. You would find that not even 50% of that is covered today. So whether you look at queues or airports or excessive security, orderlies carrying your briefcase, there are about 10 different things which have been brought down but are still there. So I think it is up to the political class themselves first to self-regulate. And the second thing is it's up to people like us to be able to say, hey, what's wrong with you? I mean, you can't walk on your own or what? But I think the obvious parts, what really was heartbreaking was to see this in the time of COVID. I do recall the number of news, you know what was happening, and it was just so terrible. But to watch people breaking queues, wanting doctors to come home, I think that was a clear instance. For me, the thing that really bothers me, apart from the jumping of queue on the fact that privilege and entitlement is so automatically taken care of. See, when you grow higher in the corporate class, you do get some perks, right? You get maybe a better car, or you get a better house. I really don't know. So one understands that there are certain values about going up in your life, but this is a matter of serving the people. So how did this happen? And when the most visible part of it, and that's something that has to stop now, is the sirens, the excessive security, and the whole trammeling of people around, the politicians when they move around. That must stop. I think they must show themselves as being more available to the people. The VIP is just a matter of conversation. It's a matter of interpretation. And as I think our Prime Minister has said at some point, the very important person is you and me.
Yes, to quote him, he says, in New India, it's EPI, every person is important, and not VIP. VIP is not the guiding principle, EPI is. Unfortunately, irrespective of the fact that since 2014, he's only been saying it repeatedly, his own ministry and officials and ministers and MPs don't want to follow that. Mr. Sanath Kaul, what is it so special that the airports are providing to our MPs that they refuse to let go of this VVIP privilege that has gone on for so long? Mr. Kaul.
Well, it's part of the tradition, but the main thing is that in this particular case, now we have private airlines. Air India has been privatized. This was not a condition of sale. Therefore, putting as a directive, I don't know whether the directive has been issued by DGCA, is very wrong. But what they can do if they really want is to have a commercial agreement with a particular airline that if you upgrade us, you give us this particular treatment, we will put all our traffic with you. And that is done at the private sector level also. They have deals with private airlines with many concessions. I mean, one airline I know says that if you buy tickets from us, we will allow changes without costing any money. There are so many other nuances to it. So it is a commercial directive. It is wrong. It is leading to improper and misutilization of the powers of the government. These are not meant for governance, good governance of airlines. These are meant to only prop up a few privileges which some people want to enjoy, and there is no basis for that. So I think it is time for government to realize that they have also a power. They have a huge number of tickets to offer. They can come to a deal with a particular airline, including the new Air India, that we can give you so many tickets and you give us these privileges. That will be a commercial deal, and I don't see anything wrong with it. But to force it by a directive is not the correct way to do it anymore. Thank you.
Yes, and everybody thought that as privatization increases, as we have more private airports, more private airlines, this idea and concept would go away. But that's not happened at all. Now, I just want, and why do I say this? I just want the MPs, our ministers, decision makers, including those in the Civil Aviation Ministry who issued these orders, those babus also, to go through the same experience that any other citizen do. If you are one of those who was at the Mumbai airport a few days ago, with those massive crowds, long queues, absolute chaos, mayhem. If any MP was part of that, they would have known why it's happening, why things are going wrong, why a private airport is so chaotic, because the counters may not be enough, the staff may not be enough, and people have to suffer even after reaching the place 2 hours, 3 hours in advance. If only they go through this experience, will they know just how grave the problems are? If only they travel through the potholed roads in the peak of traffic jams, will they know just what the common man goes through in this country day in, day out, and then they will try and fix it. Otherwise, it will just be symbolic. Let's not even talk about the basics that we would expect. Let's talk about what should be priority, irrespective, and shouldn't even have to be said. And that's what they need to do for the disabled people, for children, for the elderly, those who actually need specific focus infrastructure to enable smooth travel and smoother movement for them. But that doesn't happen. Nipun Malhotra, how often do we see instances where the infrastructure, even at airports, is not conducive for the disabled to travel easily?
No, of course. And I would like to thank you first for putting up this debate, because I think 75 years after independence, it's shocking that something like this is done. I mean, I can understand that pre-independence, of course, we had a colonial government, and that's why, the Britishers obviously wanted special perks. But today, I would think that the role of the government is to serve the people. So it's shocking that such kind of privileges are still given to parliamentarians. And I think it's across parties where, whenever we look at parliament and a salary increase for parliamentarians bill comes up, every political party kind of supports it. Now, coming to persons with disabilities in specific, I'm a person with a disability, for example, myself. And I cannot travel in the plane apart from being in the front row. And this is a challenge which a lot of persons with disabilities face, because they cannot be physically picked up from the wheelchair and taken to a second row or a third row. The elderly face this too. So now if all the seats in the front row are going to be reserved for members of parliament, I don't know how persons with disabilities and the elderly are going to travel at all. Apart from that, there are plenty of challenges that persons with disabilities face in airport security procedures. There's news that comes every year, almost of 2 or 3 cases where somebody's prosthetic has been removed and they've got injured, or a person with disabilities has been discriminated against because the airport security or the airline in question doesn't think that they can travel alone in that sense. You also mentioned roads and how roads are often blocked because a member of parliament or a senior minister is traveling through. Unfortunately, in most cities in India, including Delhi, there are no disabled-friendly toilets. And a lot of people, when they're going out to work or for meetings, they often have to go back to their own house to just go to the loo. And imagine waiting in on a road for an hour because a member of parliament is going to pass, while you need to go to a loo and you cannot even serve your physiological need. It's really shocking that, I read about other countries. I read about countries like Germany, where an Angela Merkel herself goes and buys grocery, or a Justin Trudeau who walks to parliament. And here there is this VVIP culture on one hand, and at the second hand, persons with disabilities are treated as second-class citizens. It is extremely unfortunate.
Very true. Very true.
Yes, absolutely. So, Mr. Mahesh Verma, tell me, what should the focus be? To make life simpler for everybody, or simply focus on designing rules that benefit the parliamentarians of our country?
तन्वी जी, मैं एक बात और आपको क्लियर कर दूं कि आज का जो आपका मुद्दा है, इस तरह के मुद्दे को कोई चैनल उठाता नहीं है जल्दी, क्योंकि इस तरह की चीजों को जो है ना, जल्दी सपोर्ट भी नहीं मिलता है। और आपको सुन के हैरानी होगी कि जब ये वीआईपी कल्चर की बात शुरू हुई और जब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने कहा कि इस तरह की लाल बत्ती की जो एक परिपाटी है, जो परंपरा है, या जो ये फैशन बना हुआ है, इसको हम खत्म करेंगे। और इस मुहिम पे सबसे पहले अगर किसी गवर्नमेंट ने लगाम लगाई तो मोदी सरकार थी, और वो ये थी कि एसपीजी सुविधाओं से जिनके परिवार को लैस किया जाता था, आप ये देखिए उस पे अरबों खरबों रुपया इस देश का लुटा दिया जाता था। और ये समझ में नहीं आता था कि एक आदमी जो है, जिस परिवार का कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन ना पार्लियामेंट में है, ना वो पब्लिक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, ना वो कुछ जानता पहचानता है इस देश के बारे में, लेकिन उसके बाद भी वो बिजनेस है, व्यवसाय है, लेकिन अगर प्रधानमंत्री का रिश्तेदार है, प्रधानमंत्री का बेटा बेटी है, तो उसको एक बड़ा सा घर दिया जाता था, उसके अमले जमले होते थे, उसके ऊपर आप देखिए, उसके ऊपर जब सरकार ने पार्लियामेंट में बिल लेकर आई तो कितना हाई तौबा मचाया गया। लेकिन सवाल है कि ऐसी जब चीजें होती है तो इस चीज को लेकर पब्लिक का सपोर्ट भी मिलना चाहिए उसी तरह से। कोई भी सरकार होती है, किसी भी डेमोक्रेसी में जो है ना, एक उसका सकारात्मक और नकारात्मक, नेगेटिव और पॉजिटिव दोनों एस्पेक्ट को लोग जो है ना अच्छे से एक्सप्लोर कर लेते हैं। कोई कहता है आधा ग्लास भरा है, कोई कहता है आधा ग्लास खाली है। आधा ग्लास खाली कहने वालों की संख्या जब बढ़ जाती है तो सामने भी आदमी सोचने वाला मजबूर हो जाता है कि आधा ग्लास हम भरा क्यों कहें। आज हमारी ये इच्छा है, जो आप ये, मैं आपसे कह रहा हूं कि जो आपका ये मुद्दा है, आपके चैनल ने जो उठाया है, इस तरह के सैकड़ों ऐसी चीजें हैं जो इस देश से खत्म करके, और ऐसे में जबकि हम एक कोरोना जैसे महामारी से हम, मतलब सबसे डेंस पॉपुलेटेड, हम वर्ल्ड के सेकंड नंबर के हम कंट्रीज हैं, हमारी जरूरत भी है कि ऐसे कल्चर को, ऐसी चीज को हम खत्म करें ताकि हमें उस चीज में मदद मिले जो हमारी चुनौती, जो चैलेंजेस जो है इस देश में खड़ी हो रही है कोरोना की वजह से। तो ये हमारी जरूरत भी है। अगर आप इस चीज को कहीं उठा भी रही हैं, बता भी रही हैं, तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, इस चीज से कहीं चिढ़ मचने वालों को या इसका विरोध करने वालों की भी संख्या कम नहीं होगी। आप अगर ये सोच
नहीं,
रही
तो
हैं
मैं आपको
कि नहीं,
आप बहुत बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, पर ये पार्ट में प्रॉब्लम है मिस्टर वैश्य वर्मा, जब आप कहते हैं कि ज्यादा लोग इस बात को नहीं उठाते। आप किसी से भी बात कर लीजिए, आप कोई भी आम आदमी से बात कर लीजिए, वो किसी भी प्रदेश के हों, वो किसी भी क्लास के हों, किसी भी कास्ट के हों, वो सब आपको ये बोलेंगे। सबको इस चीज से बहुत गुस्सा है, सबको इस चीज से बहुत चिढ़ है, लेकिन सिर्फ नेताओं को नहीं है। तो लेकिन सिर्फ नेताओं को नहीं है, और उनको अगर इफ यू आर टेलिंग मी मिस्टर महेश वर्मा कि नेताओं को ये बात मालूम नहीं, देन व्हाट इज बिगर प्रूफ कि उनको सच्चाई ही नहीं पता है देश की, और वो इतने डिस्कनेक्टेड है जनता से कि या तो वो ये देखना नहीं चाहते या वो देख के अनदेखा कर देते। अब इसमें से कौन सा है, बताइए।
एक आपको एग्जांपल मैं दूंगा तन्वी जी। एक हमारे देश में दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री हैं केजरीवाल। उन्होंने, वो राजनीति में जब आए तो उन्होंने घोषणा क्या करी कि हम घर नहीं लेंगे, हम मकान नहीं लेंगे, हम कोई सुविधा नहीं लेंगे, हम बच्चों की कसम खाते हैं, हम ये नहीं करेंगे, हम वो नहीं करेंगे, हम ऐसे नहीं करेंगे, हम वैसे नहीं करेंगे। अब क्या है, वो आज की डेट में आपको सुन के हैरानी होगी कि वो व्यक्ति मुख्यमंत्री निवास को प्रधानमंत्री निवास की तरह बना रहे हैं। उस चक्कर में उन्होंने एक, वहां बाबा साहब अंबेडकर की वो एक स्मारक है, मेमोरियल, वहां एक जगह है जो कि बहुत बड़ा एक कहा जाए कि भाई जो हमारे एसटी क्लास से लोग हैं उनके लिए एक बहुत पावन पवित्र जगह है, उसका गेट तक उन्होंने बंद करा दिया कि नहीं भाई हमारा काम चल रहा है, अभी इसको बंद रखो, अभी यहाँ कोई नहीं आएगा। अब सवाल है कि इस तरह के कल्चर को, इस तरह की चीज को कौन सपोर्ट करता है? पब्लिक उसको देखती है लेकिन बोलती नहीं, बोलती है तो कुछ करती नहीं, कुछ करे, कुछ खुद से ऐसा, आप एक ऐसा प्रेसिडेंट सेट करें, पब्लिक भी जो है किसी ना किसी तरह से, आज जो आपकी चिंता है, इस चिंता को हम कैसे बढ़ाएंगे?
ओके,
हम कहीं इसको ट्विटर पे भी डालें,
ठीक है,
हम कहीं
आपने जो
फेसबुक पे
बात
डालें।
रेज की,
एक सेकंड और लूंगा, एक सेकंड आपका। जैसे मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक बार क्या हुआ, अरुणाचल में एयरपोर्ट पे उन्होंने कहा कि जो हमारी सिक्योरिटी चेक जो होती है उससे हमें बहुत बड़ा लाभ है, वो एक आरती की तरह होती है। अब उन्होंने ऐसी बात कह के प्रधानमंत्री ने खुद अपना सिक्योरिटी चेक करा के उन लोगों के ऊपर करारा तमाचा लगाया जो अक्सर ये सोचते हैं कि हमारी बेइज्जती है सिक्योरिटी चेक, जबकि उस सिक्योरिटी चेक से जो है उस चीज को बल मिलता है जो कि हमारे यहाँ लोग आके दहशतगर्दी करते हैं, हमें मारते हैं, हमारे जान माल का नुकसान पहुंचाते हैं। हमारी अगर ये आदत में शुमार हो जाए, हम अगर इस चीज को करें तो हम बहुत ऐसे चीजों पे जो खर्चे होते हैं उसको भी हम कहीं ना कहीं बचा सकते हैं। लेकिन ये सोच डेवलप होना चाहिए।
अब अगर मैं ये कह रही हूँ, अब मैं ये इससे मैसेज, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, हियर इज हाउ आई विल सी इट एंड इंटरप्रेट इट। जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर बार बार यही बात दोहरा रहे हैं और माइंडसेट और सोच नहीं बदल रही, तो फिर इसको कैसे चेंज करें? प्रिया चेट्टी, डू यू हैव एन आंसर टू दैट, दैट इफ पीपल, हाउ विल यू चेंज दिस माइंडसेट? पीपल डोंट रेज देयर वॉइस इनफ अबाउट इट.
Well, I think we need to, the media needs to keep a quick watch, and every time there's an example of VIP culture, it sort of is a 10 weightage point down in the next elections. And hopefully, if there's a public watchdog body that can track that, I think that may be good. So there's nothing like the wall of shame that can motivate, however negatively, people to stop using the VIP culture. Having said that, I want to add one more point to what Nipun mentioned. It brought out two very, very critical issues, that those who need the privilege do not get it, and those who are just feel the entitlement get it. You see what happens when a heart has to be rushed to a hospital. I mean, the green corridor really works. So give credit for the fact that sometimes the VIP culture works in a positive way to save a dying person. And one thing more, one last input, which I'm kind of keep balancing it out here, saying that, yes, I think we need to fix it. B, I think they need to monitor themselves. If they don't monitor, we need to be able to set up a weighted system to monitor them. Entitlement and versus privilege, need versus privilege. But there has been a interesting survey by Statista in 2021, March 21, which asked specifically on the public opinion of reduced VIP culture in India as of February 2019. And that showed that 65% of respondents actually felt that the VIP culture had reduced. Yes, there were only about 9,000 people across 250 districts, and only that many replied to this online survey out of 65,000 people. But broadly, I do feel, and I want to look at the half glass full, as our other eminent panelists had mentioned, that I hope there's a direction towards that. And this feeling of right and of entitlement and of feeling better than everyone else, that some are more equal than others, will really, in a shorter frame of mind, and hopefully at a faster pace, erode quickly. So we really get into a situation where the true VIPs are the ones who file their votes.
Well, I hope so, but for now, I will respectfully disagree with you. I don't get that sense. I feel only one set of powerful elite have replaced another set of powerful and elite in this country. The rules of VVIP treatment remain the same. It's just that the people we were focusing on are not getting it anymore. A different set of people are getting it, and the rules are actually just getting renewed for those set of people. But let me ask this question also to Nipun. Nipun, do you have an answer to what Mahesh Verma is saying here? Yes, or we are very, the questions we are raising are very valid. The thoughts we have are very valid, but nobody really cares about it. Nobody's going to support our campaign.
No, I completely disagree with him. I think it is, and of course, I mean, it's great that you're raising this campaign, but I think every citizen really needs to contribute towards making this change. I think social media is a very powerful tool. Whenever somebody sees such kind of discrimination or reverse discrimination where a VIP is being treated specially, one must share it on social media. I think when you go out to vote, as Priya mentioned, I think you must hold your own member of parliament accountable in that sense. And I think these are the two most important things. And apart from that, kudos to Mirror Now for raising this up. And I hope all other media channels also pick this up, media houses pick this up, and we create this kind of change, not just every 5 years when we are voting for the government, but on a daily basis, we're pointing out when we think that a member of parliament is doing wrong.
Okay, thank you so much. And we continue to raise the voice for people, and we hope more and more people join us. The idea that Priya and Nipun are talking about, perhaps more people need to start doing it. Publicly start shaming them. When you catch a VVIP acting like one at a public place, let's name and shame them. Manojit Mandal is, we lost the line with you earlier, but go ahead, please. You've heard what we had to say. Make your point.
So, yeah, I think, let me say this without any qualm, that, all the political parties are guilty when it comes to sort of use these VVIP entitlements. But one thing is really unacceptable, when you need to protect criminals with this kind of privileges. They are also enjoying the same kind of privileges. The criminals, and 33% of the criminals are now in the ruling party. I'll have to say this as well. I mean, how does it feel when a terror accused is being given this kind of protection privileges? How does it feel for a common citizen? Of course, I agree with all the panelists. I mean, all the airports and the railway stations must be accessible for the disabled. And forget about the railway station, even the educational institutions are not accessible for the disabled people. It has to be done. I mean, the government is talking about Divyanga, all lip services are very much there. But on the ground, they are doing very little for these, deprived section of the society. And look at how, do you know the numbers of disabled people at this moment in the country? It's nearly 4 crores, even in fact more than 4 crores. I mean, these people are completely neglected. I completely agree with my friend who himself is a disabled. I completely agree with the fact that the government has, giving too little for the benefit of these people. This culture, I think, will continue for some more time unless we have a sustained campaign like this. And we need to, sort of come out with an example like I mentioned in the beginning. My chief minister never travels through any business class. I tell you, in her life, she hasn't traveled in a business class. She still travels by economic class. And whenever she is traveling with others, they are also traveling with the same kind of economic without the real privileges. Even in Calcutta traffic signals, she is standing along with the common passenger. That has to be followed by others as well. This has to be done in a sustained manner. But unless and until there is a sustained campaign, there is a law, there is some goodwill on the part of the ruling dispensation, this will not change at all, because we have considered this as a kind of culture of entitlement which has been going on since the colonial time.
And look how desperate, look how deep-rooted it is, Manojit Mandal, that even when the airports and the airlines are getting privatized, they're refusing to let go. They're issuing now specific circulars. The Civil Aviation Ministry is writing to them saying, all this protocol should be followed by all domestic private airports and airlines in letter and in spirit. There should be no doubt about what it is that we want. We've put it in black and white for you, for everybody to follow. Why? Why shouldn't a neta know what is the price of any food product or even basic water bottle or anything else that you want to, use or consume as a product or a service at any private airport? Why should they not know about it? Why should they not know that it takes 3 hours for you to stand in those lines and to get through the basic security checks, and then which is good, it's fine if it is for the security. But when half your terminals are not working, half the staff is not there, why should a neta not know about that reality? I am out of time, but Mr. Sarath Kaul wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please, Mr. Kaul.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say that there is a tendency in the government in India to seek entitlements all the time. However, courts have taken decision now on the issue of Lal Batti, of the red light. They have given direction who are entitled, who are not entitled, and so on. The concerned citizens have to go to the court for redressal. There is no other way, not by going to social media, not by coming on television. They go to court and seek whether these directives given by the government are all right or they have to be struck down. And that is, I think, the ultimate test of this. People are not going to the extent they should be going to the courts to seek redressal. Thank you.
Right. Now, we had to go to the Supreme Court to get rid of the Lal Batti culture. It was the Supreme Court order that actually said that should not happen. You know what the politicians did at that point of time? I remember this. Many of them found other colors. They said, okay, no red light, let's use amber light, let's use blue light. And then the government and the court had to come up with a description of what lights should be used for what kind of emergency vehicles that you can't use. I mean, that's the extent that politicians have gone on to, just to get that light to establish here is a VVIP traveling, please make way. Completely out of time. Thank you so much to all of our panelists for joining us on this conversation, because it's a conversation that we have had in our country for at least over a decade, with the highest of the government members involved, including the Prime Minister, highest of the constitutional bodies involved, just like the Supreme Court, people, media channels raising it repeatedly. But I have a feeling that the politicians are getting stronger in their mindset that they are entitled for this. Often we see them brazenly defending it, saying, well, we are the chosen one, we are the elected representative, we are the legislator, parliamentarian, we are very busy in our lives. We need roads cleared for us. We are very busy in our lives. We need airports cleared for us. We have 20,000 things to do in a day. We need all of these privileges to enable us to do so. I don't think so. If across the world, the biggest and the busiest of the politicians, if the president of the biggest democracy in the country, in the world, can go about his daily life and do their job, if sitting prime ministers of European developed nations can choose to stand in queue, cycle their way to work, pick up their own luggage, pick up their own suitcases. Why should our netas be any different? We want somebody to pick up our shoes and clean them. That's our mindset that needs to change. The Britishers left this country a while ago. We are no more willing to accept that kind of a mindset. Thank you for joining us.